Alleluia.
The Father willed to give us birth by the word of truth, that we may be a kind of first fruits of his creatures.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
May Christ be with you.
And also with you.
A reading from the Good News according to the book of Mark.
Glory to you, O Christ.
The Pharisees and some of the religious scholars who had come from Jerusalem gathered around Jesus. They had noticed that some of the disciples were eating with unclean hands, that is, without ritually washing them. The Pharisees and Jewish people in general followed the tradition of their ancestors and never eat without washing their arms as far as the elbow. Moreover, they never eat anything from the market without first sprinkling it. There are many other traditions that have been handed down to them, such as the washing of cups and pots and dishes. So these Pharisees and religious scholars asked Jesus, "Why do your disciples not respect the tradition of our ancestors, but eat their food with unclean hands?" Jesus answered, "How accurately Isaiah prophesied about you hypocrites when he wrote, 'These people honor me with their lips, while their hearts are far from me. Their worship they offer me is worthless. The doctrines they teach are only human precepts.' You disregard God's commandments and cling to human traditions." Jesus summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Listen to me, all of you, and try to understand. Nothing that enters from the outside makes us impure. It is what comes out of us that makes us impure. If you have ears to hear, then listen." He went on, "It is from within, from our hearts, that evil intentions emerge. Murder, promiscuity, theft, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, obscenity, envy, slander, foolishness, pride. All these evils come from within and make us impure." The good news of salvation.
Praise to you, O Christ.
We now know that Deuteronomy's laws were a lumped-in latecomer to the Tanakh story. So when we're thinking about not adding to those laws, it's kind of, hey, I just added all this and it's perfect, so don't mess it up. But the reading has a lot of strength despite that. Obey the guidance God provides for you, for your place and time. And don't get ahead of what God actually asks you to do. But do what you're asked mindfully, trying to do them well so that your life's an example. So you're living according to a wisdom that is timeless. If we all do that together, we build the beloved community. Psalm 15 goes on to say that the ones who have the right to enter God's tent, God's home and holy place, the focus of the whole community, are the ones who are blameless, completely safe to their friends and neighbors, but call out bad choices. Which is interesting with David's history, huh? He wasn't exactly safe to Uzziah or Bathsheba, was he? He got righteousness reset buttons. Second chances, fifth chances. The standard prophetic call out for those times. And next we have a reading from James, and I love James. I love James so much, I'm going to read it again. Every worthwhile gift, every genuine benefit comes from above, descending from the creator of the heavenly luminaries, who cannot change and is never in shadow. God willingly gave birth to us in a word spoken in truth, so that we may be, as it were, the first fruits of God's creatures. Humbly welcome the word that has been planted in you, because it has a power to save you. But act on this word, because if all you do is listen, you are deceiving yourselves. Pure, unspoiled religion in the eyes of Abba God, the Creator, is this: coming to the aid of widows, orphans when they need it, and keeping oneself uncontaminated by this world. Mic drop. First, everything worth giving is from God, in love. God gave birth to us in a word spoken in truth. That word is Christ. Not the word Christ, but the word that Christ is. That teaching makes us the first fruits as we grow in it, as it grows in us. And the wisdom that Deuteronomy talks about coming from the law, it's to live this word of truth. Live it fully. Let it shine purely through you. Be so full of this. Pour it out so fast, the world can't contaminate you. It's positive air pressure, positive ruach pressure. It's our job to contaminate the world. Then we reinforce that last thought, ending with Mark 7. Jesus is having yet another discussion with the Pharisees and scholars. What makes us pure? Is it the ritual ablution, or is it not having uncleanness come out of us, ooze out of our very pores? Jesus brings it. You disregard God's commandments and cling to human traditions, instead of disregarding human traditions and clinging to God's commandments. Jesus summoned the crowd again and said to them, listen to me, all of you, and try to understand. Nothing that enters from the outside makes us impure. It is what comes out of us that makes us impure. If you have ears to hear, then listen. And he went on, it is from within, from our hearts, that evil intentions emerge. All these evils come from within us and make us impure. So really, we need to accept that what we affect, we infect. We contaminate the world around us with whatever we're exuding, whatever we're pouring out. So who has the right to enter God's tent, God's beloved community? Those that God birthed with a word of love. Those that let that love lead them, and following the church's teachings on grace, no, we are always, always welcome to come back, get welcomed home, get cleaned up, and start again. Thanks be to God. So my question for you is, what do you want to infect the world with? What do you want to be a carrier for, vector of?